So this is a simple practice that helps us get back into beginner's mind and letting go of these ideas that the way we're approaching landscape or nature art is not enough, or that to make real art it has to be done in a certain way. So always using the vast abundance of images we have around us, perhaps you can find an image of a landscape that interests you. As you know, I love trees, and I have this tree book that I've been working in as an altered art journal. And a very simple way of engaging with a landscape or nature scene on the page is to look at it as a coloring exercise, but not in a direct fashion. First, to color in the negative space, for instance, as you see me doing as I'm coloring splotches of color, shapes of color, into some of the exposed sky areas. Not being precise, interested more in shape and picking colors that meet my mood and letting the landscape before me become as little or as much as it wants to through my practice and process.
Must have been Moonglow that led me straight to you.
And there's nothing complicated about this. It's much like doing coloring book work or what have you. It's a meditation. It's filling in what calls, leaving what calls to be left, expanding upon, and finding the world that is within the world already on the page. Going from here, right now with what we have, to there, which becomes right here, right now in the moment as we're living it and as we're creating with our art supplies and through our imaginations and with our colors. I like to use thick, creamy paints when I do this sort of thing. It makes beautiful marks happen quick on the page as well. I like to listen to music that suits my mood or that will help adjust my mood. Perhaps if I'm having a rough day, then I might listen to something uplifting, or if I'm having some emotions that I haven't had time for throughout the rest of a busy day, then I might put in some music that would help let those emotions kind of come to the surface. So lots of ways to use the environment that you're in and how you create the space for doing this sort of very simple meditative coloring practice with an image that already exists. It's good to choose a color palette sometimes that is either warm or cool. Keeps it very simple. And then to use the opposite as just a small accent here or there, and you'll see me do that in just a moment. So I've started with a cooler template of a phthalo turquoise and some violets, purples that I liked, and I've kept it pretty simple, working with white and different values of those two tones. And then in a moment I'll add just some small touches of another color.
That led me straight to you. I still hear you saying, dear one, me fast. And then I started praying.
So just that small touch of vermilion and then a little bit of this yellow ochre. It's kind of a tannish ochre. And now I'm just making shapes rather than trying to fill in the leaf silhouette with precision. I'm being more playful and free about it because that suits the practice more. So the key with this sort of simple practice is to keep it just that simple, to not question using line, using shape, using color. Let your lines be free. I've come back in now with a gel pen. You could do it with a colored one. I love white. And I'm just adding some marks and lines to create this new little world that has kind of come forth. And I've let some of the tree remain as is. Very simple marks, little effort. It was an energizing practice. So notice when your practice becomes draining and when it becomes energizing, and how letting go of ideas of what it ought to look like and choosing simpler ones can let it be something that fills you up, both aesthetically, visually, and internally, in all of those fulfilling and spiritual sort of ways as well.